Hello everybody, Ben here, and today is part 2 of building my custom Engage steam locomotive. To start off, the body I'm using for my custom locomotive is a £4 body from the Farish End Spares website. You could buy the slightly more expensive one and detailed one, however if you're doing similar to what I'm doing, I'm cutting it down a lot, so you're paying money just to cut it, so I didn't do that. It also comes with a 4g weight here, I think that's how much it weighs. That sits in the smoke box, that adds a bit of weight. I'm going to be using that though. It's pretty detailed and it looks alright, and it's pretty good value I would say. It is the Southern 2681 that I've got here. First thing I did was cut off the steps, they're now gone, sanded down with sandpaper. You can see them there. Didn't keep them because I didn't really think I was going to need them. As you can see though, it definitely does need cutting down because it is a lot bigger than the actual chassis that is going on, as you can see here. Obviously it isn't cut down yet, so that's what's going to be happening soon. The details include these moulded handrails as well as rivets. They don't look too bad, but they are moulded. There's plenty of moulded detail on the smokebox door. But however, there is no buffers, but that doesn't really matter because as you saw in the previous video, I made them. There's also a builder's plate, I think, on the wheel arches as well. You've got details as well. That I don't know exactly what that is really on the side of the tanks, and that looks good. You've got the nice printed detail of the Southern 268, and you've got safety valve and sort of whistle, as well as these things in the I think those for watering for the tanks. And you've got the firebox there, which looks all quite nice. You've also got the cab there with its sort of, I think that's the vent, so we can open that and the crew, well, if it was movable, it isn't. And you've also got the coal bunker with the sort of coal in there. While it isn't actually painted, it doesn't look too bad. You've also got the cab windows there, which looks a bit interesting. Then you've also got the cab doors, back windows, like I said, and the unpainted coal with the, I would say, quite nice looking bunker and lamp irons on the back. One aspect that is good though, I think, about this model here is it's painted top of the chimney. It is metal. The body is 7 centimetres long and had to be reduced by 2.1 centimetres, I think it was, and has been cut into 3 parts, as you can see here. The cab, the sort of dome part and a bit of the boiler, and then the smoke box. We've removed the bunker, as you can see there. That was quite helpful in making sure that it fits on the chassis a lot more. But you've also got other parts, like a bit of the boiler's been chopped off, so the part between the dome and the smoke box has been cut out, as well as a bit from the tanks. But that helps shorten it a lot, and actually now, it's obviously because it's loose, it kind of fits on the chassis, but not very much. As you can see here, they just about fit on. The wheel arch now properly fits onto the wheel arch on the Terrier chassis, which is a bit complicated because they obviously are completely different locos. Here now is the Terrier chassis. I just added the weight that came with the Ginty body. It's now also all been glued together with a little bit of plaster card to help it stick together, as well as some filler, which is what the white stuff is. You can see it isn't the best runner, but it is somewhat runnable. There's also been a piece of plastic card added to the back of the cab as well, just so it's like a half cab, but I think that looks pretty interesting. It can run, and I think it looks quite nice. Obviously this is the first test run, and it does manage to get over the points, which is pretty good considering that we've had to resolder it. I'm pretty pleased with it as it is. And it doesn't also really struggle to pull trains, though it does still stop every now and again. But like I said, overall, I'm pleased with how it runs, and apart from stuff like you can see here, on the occasional point, I think it runs pretty well and looks very nice, especially with the copper cap chimney. I'm pretty pleased with that. Some of the locos that I have don't really have that, even though they're much more expensive. That body's just £4, and that's very cheap, I think, and is pretty good quality overall. This is here now being sprayed with primer, just simple white primer to make a better finish. It wasn't quite smooth enough though, so a bit more filler was added, as you can see here. And then this is it now sanded down and is now smooth enough, I would say. This then here is the blue livery I've chosen. It's a nice sort of bright blue all sprayed over. And now here is what it is, was masked up, so we can paint the smoke box and the funnel and also the cab roof as well. Then this is it all done. The top of the chimney isn't quite perfect, and some of the area around the smoke box isn't the best, but I think the black looks pretty good. The cap roof has also been done. The copper cap obviously was mashed so that didn't get black. And the cab roof, like I said, looks pretty good. Obviously it's quite open, so I need to add some detail in there so that actually works in there. Now this just has a second layer just to make sure it's properly covered, and it's been tidied up a bit around the front. And it also, now there's been some white on the inside of the cab just to help that look a bit better. Now for the final thing in this video, I added the foreground weight here. I think that's how much it weighs. It does stay in, but I want to properly glue it in so it doesn't have even a chance of falling out. The glue I'm using is the Dulux Materials Rocket Car Glue. I've used that a lot and it can stick together anything really. It's even stuck together like cocktail sticks and stuff. Just cover it all over with glue, and then I stuck it in the model in the smoke box and stuck it upside down and left it to dry. And that added a lot more weight and made the body feel quite heavy as well, and should improve traction when pulling trains. This here is now its test run. It still doesn't work as good though. We've put it together a lot better now, and it goes up and down. I think it looks very nice in the blue and black livery, because it is quite eye-catching, especially because of how glossy the paint is compared to, say, the matte finishes of, say, green or lined black or unlined black, or the lined green of like BR and liveries and all that. So I think it's quite different. It does work quite nice. So there's obviously no lining on this. I decided not to do lining because I think that's quite complicated, even though the chassis does. But I don't think that's too much of an issue. It does seem to stop still, but I think it looks pretty good overall. And I'm very pleased with it as it is. Obviously it's not finished yet because there's still other things to do. That'll be coming in the next video. But I definitely think, as you can see here, it looks very nice pulling, say, passenger trains. It could be running on a heritage rail if you wanted it to kind of be like an industrial loco, because you could also see it as that, because it has features of an industrial loco. But I'm not really making it as an industrial loco, because obviously a lot of heritage railways do have an industrial loco, so it can work in that thing. But also it can be used in pulling goods trains, I would say, like wagons. If it was an industrial loco pulling trains around industrial sites, it works pretty well, as you can see here.